starts with preservation.
I hear you. So you don't seem like the typical sheikh, if I may say. The reason why is because I see that you're wearing a suit. You're not wearing the thobe and the cap on your head. Is there a reason for this?
I like my hair.
Okay.
No. What is a sheikh? So I remember when I first came to Memphis, I was at the other masjid, and I was giving the khutbah, and like 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, a bunch of brothers come up to me like, Sheikh, why don't you wear sheikh clothes? I'm like, so what is that? What is a sheikh clothes? I'm asking him. I want to hear it from him. I know what he's asking, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to get it out of him, for him to refute himself.
Okay.
What are sheikh clothes?
Right.
It's like, thobe, dishdasha, and like, where does it say that? Where's the hadith or the ayah that says ash-shaykhu yajibu an yalbis?
Right.
It doesn't say anything like that. In fact, aslan, the thobe that you're wearing, the Prophet never wore a thobe like that. It was completely different. If you actually look at prophetic clothes, they were very different than what we assume are the prophetic clothes, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, this is actually a cultural practice. That same thobe that the Prophet was wearing is the same thobe that Abu Jahl was wearing.
Right.
It's very cultural. It has nothing to do with, as long as it covers the awrah, it's appropriate. You know what I mean? It's not immodest, etc., etc. There's guidelines, yes. But outside of that, you'll realize, hey, wait a second, what I thought was Islamic or what Sheikh like that. Aslan, Ibn Taymiyyah himself was asked in his fatwa, by a person who was living in a predominantly non-Muslim country, at the time, which is very strange at the time, but
Mm-hmm.
He said, what should I wear? Should I wear the clothes from my back home, or should I wear the clothes of the people? He said, as long as it's appropriate, wear the clothes of the people. You don't need to stand out.
Yeah.
Now, if a person wants to wear a thobe, ahlan wa sahlan, go ahead. I'm not going to be against that. I used to be like very much anti-thobe at one point, but I realized like it does have a utility. Like I was with a friend of mine, and because he was wearing a thobe, he was the only one who was wearing it. We got approached by a guy who's like, hey, are you guys Muslim? He wouldn't have known that we were Muslim otherwise. Are you guys Muslim? Yeah. It's like, I've been looking for Muslims, blah, blah, blah. I've always wanted to ask some questions. We sat him down. We were at a restaurant. We sat him down with us. He ate with us. We're answering some of his questions. Later on, he came to the masjid, took his shahada.
MashaAllah.
And it was because of the thobe. If he didn't, now, obviously, the person, if Allah, if he was meant to be guided, he'll be guided, inshallah ta'ala. But
Sure.
It does have a utility. I understand that fully. But it's not, there's nothing to say that it is Islamic or anything like this. And to the contrary, you can wear something. Now, what happens to me is that when I dress like this and I go to a function, they're like, oh, are you the Jewish rabbi?